Everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. So this is the third video of our Spring Boot series where we are building a simple CRUD application. Okay, and the first two videos have already uploaded. Please do watch that and then come to this video. We already did the setup and a simple API. Yeah. So in this video, we are going to build an API which will create. Okay, so as we see CRUD, CRUD is what? Create, update, delete, and read. Okay, so in that create we are going to see. Before that, I want to explain some annotations which we are going to use. Okay, first is REST controller. So as I explained in the previous video, it is combination of these two, is controller and response body. Why this is used? It if you only use the at the rate controller annotation on your class, that means you are see, this is what it is. This is used for building endpoints. Endpoints. Okay, you will be building your endpoints, and in this class the method you will be writing, that will be our APIs. But only if you use the controller, that will return what? It can return the views. What views means? Is HTML pages. But if you club this controller with response body, and response body, what response body at the rate response body will do is it acts like a serializer. Okay, so it will return the response, return the response in form of JSON. Okay, so normally what you do, you will return, let's say a student or employee object in Java model we will be using. There will be a Java class. The class name is, let's say, employee, and it has some its attributes. Okay, and you are returning that employee. Okay, but this will be our Java object, right? Then the work of this response body is it will convert this Java object to JSON. Okay, and in return we will get JSON. Okay, and we can also return in XML. That for that we have to do some, and any other format, if for that we have to do some configurations. Yes, but if we use this REST controller, what we will be building restful endpoints which will return JSON. Okay, that is why we are using this REST controller. Now for create API, this is on the class where we are building the API. So there will be only one class for controller, like employee controller in last video which we use. Okay, now there are two, is I will explain first request body. Like response body, it is returning in JSON. So request body, it will convert that JSON to, not this one, to Java. Okay, so while taking, okay, for create, let's say you want to create an employee. So you have to, what? You have to send employee details. So you will send in JSON format. Okay, let's say ID, name. Okay, and this will be converted to Java object. And the work, who does this work is request body. Okay, and post mapping is, as we know, okay, here I think these endpoints are HTTP. Okay, we are building RESTful, so HTTP APIs we will be building. So which methods? Get, post, put, delete, and okay, there will be some other method. So for this you can watch my video. I will add that in description for detailed video for this and CRUD. Yes. Now for post, we will be using the post mapping in Spring. In Spring we have in Spring we have get mapping, post mapping, okay, put, and delete. Okay, so in get mapping you can get the data. We will be using this in the next video where we will be reading the data. Okay, right now we are just creating. In next video we will be reading the data. Okay, now post. Okay, for post we need to create, so it has body. Okay, in that body only we will be sending what, we'll be sending the data, this JSON data. For put also we have body. Okay, so these are the methods, and this we will be using, like for post mapping we'll be using. For request body, as I explained, it will convert Java to JSON to Java object, here from Java object to JSON. Response body. Okay, this is all about annotations which we are going to use in our this video. So every video I'll be explaining this concept which in that video we are going to use. Okay, so this is important and this is important. So what will be the flow is from controller. Okay, we will get from Postman, we are using the Postman, and if we will hit the API to the controller, and it will, in controller it comes, and where it will convert our JSON to Java and then go to service. We will be using one service layer where it there will be logical part written. As of now there will be no repository. Okay, or we can do one thing is in service. Okay, there will be repository, we can use this. We will create a list of employees and we will add this, and in service what we can do is, as of now we will just return the same, we don't have to return. Okay, this is a post API, but fine. Okay, we can return the same thing in back, which is which element which we have added, not the list. Okay, but here in some logical part which we can do is something grouping or something. Okay, but as of now let's not do, just return this and it will return to the controller. Later we can do this in service, I will explain. So let's start with simple. As I said, keep it simple. This is my LinkedIn that description as well. If you want, you can check. Now let's start coding. So what we will do is, for that we need to create a model class. Okay, model class will be uh, okay, it is already running. In last video we have seen, if I hit this, okay, this is the simple API which we built last in the last video. So if you see, it is returning me the same. Now in employee controller, what we want to create. So public. Okay, what we will return one employee and create employee or add employee, whatever. And which annotation I said? Request body. So what it will do, it will convert the JSON to our Java object. So this will be our employee. So now let's create this class where we will create, under this package I'll create a new package as model, and here we will write one employee. We don't need annotation as of now, anything. So I will private, let's say int id, private, and name, employee name, private, and salary, or not salary, let's take code, designation code. Okay, as we have added dependency, which dependency? Lombok dependency. So we can use at the rate data. Okay, at the rate data, if we go to this, okay, and here it will, okay, this is a, let's check all this. Okay, no issue. So if you do this, I think we can't see. Okay, what at the rate data will do is, it will create our uh, constructors. Okay, and here if you see, at the rate data, will let's search annotation in Spring Boot. So it is the data annotation. Okay, you see getter, setter, toString, and required arc constructor and equal this thing. Okay, so using lombok we can use this. So it will create getter setters, okay, to string. So as of now let's not use that, we will use later, I just explained. So instead of using annotations, what we'll do, create we will create our constructors and getter setters. So let's create here, click on right click, generate constructor, select all. Okay, yes. Now we will create default constructor as well. So get your concepts clear, okay, before starting with the um, any spring course. So I'm talking about the uh, basics of Java. Okay, now these are the setter method and these are the getter method, which you should have learned in 1 minute. I'll just create it. I think yes. These are the getter method. These are setter method. Setter I mean just setting the values, and getter for getting, as our fields are private. So let's see now. Now yes. Now let's go to the controller. Let's import this. Import. Okay. Now what we are going to do is, okay. So there is one concept called as dependency injection. Okay, so we should understand that before going forward. Okay, so what we are going to do is, see, the as I explained, service, repository, right? So now what we do is, normally we create object with new keyword, but here what springs gives us is, instead of creating object every time new, okay, whenever you call, let's create it only once and use it every time. Okay, that is what spring says. So where it has this dependency injection concept, so there are different ways. Okay, there are different ways as setter injection, constructor injections. Okay, so we will be seeing the constructor injection today, and I'll be uploading a detailed video on dependency injections. So as of now, let's focus on constructor injection. So what we will do, let's create one more package, and here I'll write service. Okay, and here I will create employee service. Okay, if I mark this as at the rate service. Okay, why I need to mark this annotation is, it is equivalent to at the rate component. Okay, inside the controller, rest controller, so there is at the rate component. It came from there. Okay, at the rate component, that is what we are telling Spring that create bean of this class. So what is bean? Bean is just a, you can consider a uh, okay, let's consider there is a container. Okay, Spring maintains a container. So let me explain this. Okay, let's understand. So there is one container which Spring maintains, which is called IOC container. Okay, where it maintains the beans. So these are beans. Okay, these are what? Beans. And our application code uses these beans. Okay, so what we have to do is, for service I need only one bean. For controller also I need one bean, if okay. I need one for not model class but repository. Okay, so instead of creating every time new, we will create only once, but we are not going to create. Okay, we are not going to create it using the this new keyword like this. I'm trying this. I'm trying to say. Let's say we have employee service. E is equal to new employee service. If you create this in any file, whenever that class is loading, this will be new one, new creating. Okay, so instead we will tell Spring that I will mark this as component. You take care of this bean. Okay, you have to create this bean whenever I ask. Okay, or just if I if I do this, I should be I should be able to pointing to that bean. Okay, this is what the IOC container does. So it is basically a program, okay, which creates object and hold them in memory, and it will inject in another. Okay, so it's like a complete life cycle from creating, holding, and destroying, which will be maintained by which this Spring IOC. IOC is inversion of control. Okay, and for that to understand this, you have to understand Spring. Okay, that is what I said. First, get clarified by Spring, and then come to this if you want, or you can go reverse as well if you are good. Okay, so let's take an example. We have student. Okay, and in that we want class address, and for this address, instead of creating no, we will use one more class. Of course, we will be having this address class to inject this address into this. Okay, we need to inject this address into this student. Okay, so in which way we can do this is setter injection or property injection or using the constructor injection. Okay, normally in Spring we what we do is we use this XML files to create the beans, XML files to create the beans, and there we do these injections. uh, okay, just a minute. Hmm. Setter injection or constructor injection. Okay, now let's do this here. Okay, now what we are going to do, add the service means I'm telling this to create a bean of this, so it has to hold that whenever I create somewhere, it has to point this to that bean. Okay, now in service what we'll do, public, it will return us the employee, create employee. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section. It might be some confusing for you if you are listening this first time, these concepts. Okay, so here what we'll do, let's not go in this video, let's not go to the repository, or we can just let's go. Okay, better. Now what we'll do is we need a repository, so I will create one more. It will be little complex. Okay, repository, and here I will add one class like employee repository. Later we will be integrating with the database. Okay, once we understand the basic flow. Okay, here I have to mark this repository. Okay, like service repository all came from at the rate component. Okay, it's not almost same, but it represents, it is a repository call class, and it is a service class. Okay, for a simple class where nothing is malab, if you just want to inject that into some another, you can use the component. So here what we will use? We will use repository. Okay, now okay, I'll write private. So how we will do the constructor injection is employee service, here repository, this dot repository is equal to repository. Okay, now here we will go to this repository. Oh wait, it, sorry, I should employee repository. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, here also. Okay, this is what constructor injection is. I will be uploading a detailed video on setter injection as well. Okay, now we have to, okay, let's create a method here. What? Public employee. Okay, the main work is here. Okay, create employee. Here we will get some employee, employee. Okay, now let's take a list of employee. As I explained, okay, we will be first using this list. Okay, employee list is equal to new list. Okay, now instead let's take an array list. So now here what we will be doing, employee list dot add employee, and we will return same employee. Okay, and we will call this where, we will call this in our this class. What? Repository dot create employee, and we will pass this employee, and we will mark this as written. Okay, later we will be, it's the service work is not just giving like coming from controller and giving to repository again, giving response back. It is, there are some logical part we can add here. Okay, as of now there is no logical part, so we are just returning as it is. Okay, in controller again what we have to do, let's remove this for now. Okay, what we will do, we have to do constructor injection. How you do the constructor injection is, let's take our service, employee service. Okay, as we marked it as at the rate service, internally it is component. So public employee service, in its constructor we need sorry, employee controller, in its constructor employee service, and this dot employee service is equal to employee service. This is what we did in constructor injection. Now the object of employee service is created. Now we can call this employee service dot create employee and emp. Okay, and we will return this. And as I explained, in REST controller we have response body which converts this. It is returning an employee object, okay, which is Java object. Okay, and we have to return, we want the JSON there. Okay, so the work, who does this work is response body, and we are getting from Postman, we will be sending the what, JSON. So the work to convert that JSON to Java is request body. Now let's restart and let's test this, and also I will be explaining what mistakes you can do, like more likely to do. Okay, let it start. Yeah, I think it started. Now, okay, we did one more mistake. Where is our post mapping? Yeah, okay, so at the rate post mapping, and let's say, okay, only slash create. Now again restart it. We have to send this employee. Employee has ID, name, and code. Okay, so how you'll write the JSON? So if you're not aware, let me know in the comment section. I can create a video on that, or else you can just search on the internet and you'll get to know. It started with port as 8081. Okay, now I'll create new request. Okay, um, our URL will be http:// localhost 8081 slash create. Okay, it will be like what? Create employee. I'll write some name. Okay, and which method? I'm sorry. I think I so sorry. It created gRPC. Yes. Okay, HTTP. Okay, this you want only create and make sure you are selecting post, and then in your body. Okay, in body instead of, yes, it is correct. JSON. Select the JSON. Okay, and here what we have ID. Okay, ID as let's say 1. Name is Komal. Code is 01. Let's take this. Okay, so I made one more mistake. Why I added everything int. Okay, so I should, okay, as of now let's take everything int. um, let's take 3 and 3. Okay, I'll want to send this. Let's see if we get any error. We'll solve that. Yes, it has added, so it is returning the same. Okay, and yes, here nothing. Now let's add, do some modification. So what mistakes you can do is you will select only get and you will do this. What you will get, you will get this method not allowed, because you have created a post API, so you have to hit the same URL which you have used there. And if you use some different name instead of id2, it will give bad request because the request is not same. Okay, so you have to make sure you use the same name which is there. Okay, and the same type. If I write here something, okay, let's see what we'll get. Is we'll get again bad request because the type of name is in there, but I'm sending a string. Okay, so it will convert this to what, int. Okay, here if I, even if I add like this, there's no worry. Okay, so now let's make some changes here. Is first I'll take string here. Okay, I'll have to change everywhere. Only this. Yes, that's it. Okay. Yeah, now we have changed the string and let's add some logs. So if you remember in the last video we have added one dependency, a logbok, okay, and that is for this logs and all. Now let's add log. So if you just do this log, if you see this, the first one is sl4 foods, this one, click on this, so it will create this logger for you for this class. Now there are different methods. As of now we'll be using info. I will just write entered controller, just to check, just to let you know that how the flow is going. I explained it before, but let's check here. Entered controller, and with id. Okay, with id what I'll add is emp dot get id. Okay, now we'll go to create employee this service. Here also I'll add log dot info entered service. Now I'll go to this repository. Here I will print the list of employees. Okay, log dot info log entered repository. Okay, here let's add the size of this is employee list dot size. Okay, now let me run again. So whenever you start the application, that time your list will be empty. Okay, and in one go, if you add multiple, then only it will be visible on list. Okay, yes, it started. Now let me hit this. I'll add my name. Now we have string, right? So yes, it is going. It has started, I think. Yes, entered controller 1. Okay, and see, before we added the log before adding the element, so that is why it is giving 0. Let me add one more. So I should get 1 if I add with some different. Let's add with some different id. Are. Oh, sorry. Okay, now it should be 2. So the size is 3, but it is returning 2 because before adding we have added the log. Okay, so you get it right. So we are adding in list, it is coming to controller, then service, and then repository. So the video ends here. So thank you so much for watching this video. And if you feel this video is helpful to you, please like this video, subscribe my channel, stay updated. Thank you.